Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about Dungeons and Dragons and Stranger Things, Season 1, Episode 1. And this is my Dungeon Master exploration specifically of Stranger Things. I did an entire watch through of every season, viewing it from the perspective of a Dungeon Master, what lessons we should learn, right? And how we look at Stranger Things in the light of 5 decades of Dungeons and Dragons. So today we're going to talk about Dustin Henderson. So Dustin Henderson, he's from the second pair in the Mighty Four, in the Core Four friend group, right? So you got Mike Wheeler, Will Byers, Lucas Sinclair, and Dustin Henderson. I want to talk about just Dustin Henderson today. So what's really interesting about Dustin Henderson? So he has cleidocranial displacement. And we know this because he tells us, right? He knows exactly what his condition is that gives him this lisp. So he has a lisp. His teeth are kind of misformed, and it makes him sound unusual, right? He can't communicate flawlessly the way a politician would, or what you would expect a traditionally persuasive person to be able to speak like, right? And he tells us this, and this kind of crafts something immediately, right? So he's part of this Dungeons and Dragons group, and they are a friend group. And actually, they are friends before they came to Dungeons and Dragons. And then we get the idea, I don't know if we ever know for certain, but we get the idea that probably Mike brought Dungeons and Dragons to everybody else. And since they were already friends, they were like, yeah, let's do this. And you also get the idea that Dustin Henderson definitely helped cement that decision. And the reason why is Dustin very carefully exhibits a ton of intelligence. He's really smart. And he has mastery of Dungeons and Dragons itself. But this group, right, this friend group, he can't speak the way in the normal manner that people are expecting. But it doesn't mean anything to Will Byers and Mike Wheeler and Lucas Sinclair. And they think he's awesome, and they think he's epic. And they don't take any points from him for it, right? They never mock him. He's 100% included in the group. And this tells us that this group is kind and tolerant. And that's a really big deal. And the reason why is that is a Dungeons and Dragons group. Dungeons and Dragons, you can't be a repugnant hate monger and play D&D. And the reason why is it's literally like it's every progressive thing all at once, right? It's like, hey, this guy over here, he's playing a woman character, and this woman over here, she's playing a orc, right, or a half orc, right? Like, and there's an elf and there's a dwarf, and they're on the same team. It's progressiveness throughout, right? And so Stranger Things is solidifying this, and it's showing us this in high detail. And it's beautiful. It is stunningly beautiful. And I really think Stranger Things is a stunningly beautiful depiction of 1980s Dungeons & Dragons and 2020s Dungeons & Dragons. And 1990s Dungeons & Dragons and 1970s Dungeons & Dragons and 2000s Dungeons & Dragons. And 2010s. Like, Dungeons & Dragons has always stood for progressiveness, in my humble opinion. Also, Dustin Henderson is without a doubt my favorite character in Stranger Things. Everything you just heard is my humble opinion on Stranger Things Season 1, Episode 1, Dustin Henderson. Thank you for letting me share these thoughts with you. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion on Stranger Things and Dustin Henderson. When you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider subscribing and have a fetch millennium.